never break your pride. Don't believe what they tell you. They try to sell you. When dreams died, plans fell through. They can never break your pride. They can never take your pride.
Hello and welcome to The Topic, Thailand's weekly news update show covering what's hot and what's not in Thailand every week. My name is Bunnag and joining me today is my co-host, Mr. Adrian Stewart, and our special guest presenter, Mr. Tom Chrysopon, a very controversial person indeed. Now, every week, what the format of the show is going to be is we're going to be covering every hot topic that's hot in the news in Thailand. So here is this week's Top 10. Number 1, former Prime Minister Taksin in the USA. Number 2, BMA, BTS Concession forever. Number 3, the south of Thailand under fire. Number 4, flood. Is there going to be one this year? Number 5, Muang Airport. Is it a go? Number 6, the AEC. We explain. What is it? Number 7, Burma. How can we totally exploit these guys some more? Number 8, the Democrat Party. Are you still out there? Number 9, squatting toilets. On the way out? And number 10, Olympics Thailand team. Okay, mate? All right, those are this week's top 10 topics, and we're going to be back with number 1 right after this break. Okay, welcome back to The Topic, Thailand's weekly topical news update show. Now, our first topic. Former Prime Minister Taksin Shinawat is currently in the USA on an investment trip, or maybe just touching base with the Thai people over there. Let's throw it to our studio guest. Tom, former Prime Minister Taksin in the US.
Great.
What's he up to?
Great. You know, he's visiting the people. He's traveling around the world. He's promoting Thailand. Truly showcases that everything that's been, said against him has been politically motivated. The U.S. has accepted him.
No, I don't really buy that. Adrian,
You're jumping to conclusions there.
I'm not jumping to conclusion. The U.S. will not give visas to anyone with a criminal court case against them. Truly showcases. If the USA is going to give this man a visa, he's clean.
Adrian,
well, it depends on what passport he's holding.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Adrian. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't whitewash him from his crime.
I'm not saying it whitewash. It just showcases very clearly that a country like the U.S., very difficult to get a visa, and you know this. If the U.S. government is going to give this man a visa to enter their country, what does that say? It says that every country in the world accepts him, except the only country that he's trying to do good for, which is Thailand.
Well, if the U.S. accepts him so much, and if Taksin wants to stay in the U.S. that much, perhaps he will stay there longer.
Well, I'm sure he's enjoying his stay there.
Well, let's hope it stays that way.
No, but Adrian, I have to be fair, Jay.
Okay, carry on, sir.
Taksin is traveling around the world.
Okay.
He's out there promoting for the benefit of the people of Thailand. He's in the U.S. this week. He's in New York. He's in Los Angeles. He's meeting with Thai people. He's meeting with foreign people. He's meeting with the U.S. people, telling them what a great country this is. I think people have just got to get over this.
Okay,
if other countries can't accept him, why can't we?
Okay, no, but I don't think it's not really a precedent being set here because
How can it not be a precedent?
Because former Prime Minister is in the USA, even though he has outstanding convictions here in Thailand. I mean, it's always been the case that whenever someone is thrown out of Thailand or not extradited,
they pop up somewhere.
How can it not set a precedent? The precedent is if you are a convicted criminal, the U.S. government will not provide you with a visa. How can this not be a precedent? This showcases the number one country in the world.
So does USA law override Thai law?
It's not about that.
It doesn't.
It just means that all the convictions against Taksin, the U.S., a very democratically elected country, sees it all being politically motivated and has allowed this gentleman to go back into the U.S., where 5 years ago he was, taken out by the people here. Yeah. Now they have allowed him to come back and promote our country. What's bad about that?
Well, the U.S. obviously has remained silent on this. They have not given any reason.
What's silent? There's a stamp on his visa.
No, hang on. I would say this. It's better that he's in the U.S. than he is here.
Why would you say that, Adrian?
Less controversial.
Well, okay, look.
Less problems.
I
Less
think,
chaos.
To be fair.
Okay, so he's not coming back here for the meantime. He's in the USA, supposedly on an investment trip.
And,
right?
and it's
so is
a
that
private
Wait a minute,
investment
wait a
trip,
minute.
perhaps.
And is that not a good thing?
Is it
That-
what kind of
and is that
investment
not a good thing
I
that our
don't know.
former
I don't
prime
know.
minister
I don't know.
is out there promoting Thailand to people around the
Well,
world,
it-
getting the right audiences to hear about our country?
It depends on your point of view. But he's in the US.
He is
he's
in
on
the
an
US.
investment trip. Is it a private investment trip?
Private,
or is,
surely.
or is he representing?
He does
we
not
have
represent
no
the
idea.
country.
I know for a fact that he'll be in Los Angeles. He'll be in
Yeah.
New York. He's meeting with a lot of Thai people. He's meeting with a lot of business people there. Look, the guy is there to help promote Thailand. If that's part of interest, look, he's there.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap this one up now. I think we're out of time for the former Prime Minister Taksin topic.
Well, it's a hot topic.
We'll come back to it probably in the weeks to come. It's about, I mean, he's always in the news. He's never out of the news. Thai press, they can't get enough of him. I think a lot of people have had enough of him, but we just
Well, I
wish,
think our
we just wish the whole,
friends would like to know
maybe
that.
we just wish the whole situation would calm down a little bit, especially in here. Number two, topic number two, the BMA. They're fighting over the BTS concession. You may have saw this one in the news in the last couple of weeks. The Bangkok Metropolitan Authority, they have extended the BTS, the Bangkok SkyTrain concession for another
17 years.
17 years. Now, what's the story behind that?
Well, I see it as a good thing. The BTS has changed the traffic patterns in Bangkok.
Yeah.
It's much more easier to actually get around. Everyone's property prices have gone up around BTS stations, and you know, nothing problematic about
My
this.
friend, I don't disagree with you that the BTS is the greatest thing that's ever happened to traveling in Bangkok. I like paying my 10 baht and going up and down, right?
No, it's not
It's
10
not
baht.
10 baht.
Is it 10 baht anymore?
Even
20
though it was-
baht, whatever it is.
even though
right?
it was
the
promised 20
only
baht, it's not.
problem with this deal is...
Tom, when was the last time you took the BTS?
Actually, I took it last week.
You paid 10 baht?
I paid something. Somebody paid for me. But listen, the problem with the deal is very simple.
Right.
The concession has not ended, and it won't end for another 15 years. The question is, why would the Bangkok Metropolitan Authority extend a concession for another 17
I think
when the first 15 has not finished yet? Second problem is they didn't take this through the proper channels.
Okay.
The proper channel is to get the approval from the Minister of Interior, whom, in reality, is the boss of the BMA. So I'm not saying the Democrats did anything wrong. I'm not saying the Democrats did anything
Who is
right.
the current-
It just smells fishy.
Who is the current BTS concessionaire? Okay, are they doing a good job?
Yes.
Look, I'm not saying it's a bad
Are
job.
they doing a good job?
Yes.
All right? Look,
Do you like the
it-
service?
it-
Do you like the service they
And there's
provide?
probably no one
The
else
whole
who can do
point
it to
is-
replace them.
I don't think that the issue here that we should talk about is whether or not, you know, the service is good or the service is bad. The issue here is why would the Bangkok Metropolitan Authority extend a concession that won't be over for
I have
15
two-
years today?
I have two reasons. One,
And why didn't they go through the proper channels?
when the BTS wanted to extend the line,
Yeah.
the government did not approve the budget. It used BMA's budget.
Imagine.
There was one. There was
Okay.
one. So BMA did good. They're doing it for the benefit of the people.
Is it for the benefit of the people or for the benefit of the BMA?
Number two, public transportation is a long-term project.
I don't disagree with you.
It's
I
a
don't
very
disagree
long-term
with you.
project.
I
If
don't
you
disagree
have
with you.
vision and ability to see long-term, you can be more efficient in your operations.
I don't disagree with that. The only point is, if that was the case, there is a proper channel. Imagine if you approve something without your boss knowing. Would that be a proper way to do things?
It depends who your boss is.
Yeah, I'm not a
You have
legal
a boss.
expert.
Yeah.
Then, you know something? Then you don't work for that company.
Yeah.
You have a boss. It's very clear. The BMA has a boss, which is the Ministry of Interior. The Ministry of Interior has to approve this.
Okay, so what's the likely outcome here? The Minister of Interior.
It's gonna
the
get
Minister-
scrapped.
It's going to scrap.
It's gonna get
Okay, so the next government's going to come in again, or they're going
Well,
to.
you know,
They're waiting
next-
for the next governor of the BMA, who could be
Someone else.
governor.
Someone
or
could be
someone
you.
else. Okay.
Next topic.
Okay, next topic, number 3, the south of Thailand. As you know, the south of Thailand has been hitting news. There's been continued violence, continued burnings, continued shootings. The Thai military are down there. It seems like they're having a very tough time of things. What exactly is going on down there?
This is a long-term problem. This is a long-term problem. It's been going on. It's been going through the hands of many governments, and no one seems to be able to solve this problem. But you know, from the way we see it, that horrible video of 4 soldiers being attacked by 16 bandits, I would call them. That is a pure indication of the unpreparedness of the military, I would
Well, I
say.
mean, there's clearly a problem down there. Soldiers are getting shot at, they're getting bombed. Every few days there seems to be a new killing, execution style.
5,000 people have
innocent
died.
people are being killed nearly on a daily basis. City centres are being bombed. So why can't the Thai military get a handle on this, Tom?
You know, Jay and Adrian, on this one, I don't think we have any arguments in the fact that it's a very sad situation for all. But as in anything, you know, it's the act of the few that are, you know, destroying the goodwill of the many. I think, you know, we live here in Bangkok. You know, a lot of expats live here. You know, we see this as a problem far away from us. But in reality, it's sad for those people that are living in it.
More attention needs to be paid.
It's a localized terrorist issue. Okay.
You know, I don't want to go to the word terrorism because I think that's very strong. I think it's an insurgency down there.
Okay.
It's
an insurgency. It's a separatist movement.
You know,
whatever it is.
But as Adrian said, you know, many governments have tried to resolve this problem. I think the fundamental issues, there are people. You know, I read in the Bangkok Post the other day.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, it becomes a religious issue. You know,
Is it really a religious issue?
Look,
or is that just a convenient excuse?
Look, again, I don't have the answer to this one. I wish that somebody would. I wish that tomorrow we can wake up and, you know, our brothers and sisters in the South.
Okay, so potentially it's a historical problem.
It's a historical problem. But I think we need to be fair to everybody. I think the military is trying their best. I think the police are trying their best. I think whether it's a democratic government, whether it's the Pheu type government, whether it's any government, no one wants to see bloodshed.
Okay, so why hasn't the Thai government or the Thai military learned from internal conflicts or conflicts that have been going on in other countries for many years? Take Northern Ireland, take Iraq, take Afghanistan.
But
soldiers in those countries during those times of conflict did not ride around on motorcycles.
On Honda Waves. No,
they're in armored Land Rovers. They're in big armored Humvees.
I think
they're in armored personal
we don't
cars.
want to get.
Why doesn't the Thai military have this kind of equipment?
So the question becomes: is negotiation or is more surge in military better? You know, again, it's one of these things, right?
I would say a dual-pronged strategy. You have to increase your military presence. You have to train your soldiers to be better equipped to handle these terrorists who are striking for no reasons. I don't even know if they know the reasons they're striking for. Right? You definitely have to increase that protection and then start negotiation. But I think the problem is, who do we negotiate with?
Yeah. But I think on this one, Jay, to all of our foreign friends watching, you know, it's something that I think all governments, all sides are trying to resolve. But like you said, whether it's Northern Ireland, whether it's happening in Israel today, whether it's happening anywhere, you know, there's always going to be that group of people. You know, and again, I don't want to get to the point
there's a fight going on. There's a struggle going on. So, I mean, I think one of the clear questions that has never been answered up to now is that why aren't the military boys down there properly prepared?
Why can't they protect themselves? As I mentioned, 5,000 over people have died over the years since this conflict has been there. But the government today seems to be paying more attention to the 91 people who died during the Red Shirt riots than the 5,000. The attention is a bit wrong.
Yes.
No, but again, I think no one is not paying attention. And to be fair, Adrian, no one's not paying attention to any death. A single life loss, you know, of our Thai brother and sister is a sad day for Thailand. I think, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's something that's going to be very difficult to resolve. And, you know, all we can do is wish for the best and send them our best of hope down there in the South.
Okay,
I will agree with you.
I think we're going to cut it there, guys. Let's move on to topic number 4 this week, floods. As some of you may have realized, we had a bit of a flood issue in Thailand last year where something like 1/3 of the country was underwater. Bangkok was under threat. Many people lost their livelihoods. Many people lost their homes. Everyone's holding their breaths. Are we going to have heavy rainfalls? Are the dams going to burst? Are the rivers going to burst their banks this year? Are we due for another round of floods this year? What do you think, guys?
No floods.
Well, interesting, because I read this morning that MCOT in Tak has been declared a disaster area because the river has overflowed its bank. So,
okay,
it has begun.
No floods in Bangkok.
It has begun.
No floods in Bangkok.
Will it get worse? Will the dams be able to hold the water? I'm not an expert in this area, but, you know, as the Scouts' motto, be prepared.
Tom, for last year's floods, was there a man-made element to it?
Look, I think we have to be fair.
Was there a man-made element?
I think there were 3 elements to last year's flood. The first one was the severe storms. Right? That's something I can't control, you can't control.
But severe storms can be predicted.
Again, you can't control storms.
Okay. Storms can be predicted in
I don't
advance.
disagree with you. Severe storms, that we can't predict. 2, obviously there was a situation with letting the water out of the dams. I think the government this year has done a good job of making sure our dams are not full. 2, except the severe storms that may or may not happen again. Third, obviously, I think it was the internal conflicts between the BMA, the central government, people not being coordinated. I don't think this year, with Kun Yingluck now fully in power, with the army now fully understanding that people cannot accept these floods again, that floods again will happen. The three things have to happen. 1, severe storm. 2, dams have too much water. 3, people are not coordinated. I can't predict number one.
Are they more coordinated
I
this
think
year
so.
than they were last year?
You see the canals, they're being cleaned. You see the Bangkok governor out there. This one, I'm very impressed, right?
Yeah.
I'll give credit where credit is due. I actually think the Bangkok governor, even this year, is being more prepared.
Okay.
I think Kun Yingluck is being very more prepared. But again, at the end of the day, the first one we can't predict. So
Did
obviously,
the floods
let's cross our
touch you
fingers.
last year or not,
Oh,
Adrian?
thankfully
It
not.
touched me
Did it touch
heavily.
Have you been properly have you had
Compensated?
compensated
Yes,
for that?
I did actually. I get compensated, and now I
How much
actually,
did you get?
instead of cars, I bought submarines.
How much did you get?
I got money. Much like everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. We're
No,
going to
but
move on.
just
Oh no, we're not
to
going to move
add-
on. I think we're.
To add on to this, last year when Tom mentioned that there was a lot of lack of coordination. I think the lack of coordination stems from people who don't know what they're doing, trying to tell people who know what they're doing what to do. So, maybe you should let the experts who know what to do solve the problem.
And
not let politicians decide
I
when
think-
to open the gates or not.
I agree.
I think there was a moment last year when a deputy minister in the Ministry of Agriculture seemed to take responsibility for some of the floods by saying that they were slow releasing the water from the dam, or they didn't let as much water out of the dam as they normally would because they wanted it for the rice crop.
Right. Look,
No,
I'm
I don't think that decision has been made again this year.
To all
They've
my-
gone back,
to
they've
all
gone
of
back
our-
to the way it should be, right?
to all of our foreign friends, I give credit to Thailand about one thing. I think you've been here. Thai people make mistakes,
Yeah.
right? But usually we find a way to fix them. It's the Thai way of finding ways to fix things. I would hardly think, unless through the act of the miracles of God, and Noah's Ark were to show up in my backyard, that we're going to have a flood again. So keep your elephants at home, keep your giraffes at home. I think we're going to be okay.
Be prepared,
All right,
by the way.
all right. And on that bombshell, people make mistakes. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with our next few topics right after this.
They can never break your pride.
Topic number 9, squatting toilet.
What?
Myanmar might not be so.
I don't think they have a choice. I don't think they have a
look at another
choice.
country.
I don't think they have a
China.
choice. So wait a minute.
So,
Is this going to help Thailand or hurt Thailand? No to everything. No.
Am I going to get a cheap
Good
quote
question.
on?
They can never break your pride. Don't believe what they tell you. They try to sell you. When dreams died, plans fell through. They can never break your pride. They can never take your pride.
How do we go from the AEC, the Democrats, to squatting toilet?
Okay, welcome back to the topic, the weekly topical update show where we're talking about what's hot and what's not in Thailand. Now we're going to head into our second set of topics, starting with Muang Airport. Is it a go or is it not a go? As you may remember, last year Muang Airport was hit by one of the worst floods ever in Thai history, which forced the closure of the airport and forced the airlines out of there into Suvarnabhumi International Airport. Now they're back. Is it a good thing or not? What do you think, Adrian?
Well, I've been to a few countries, and I don't know. I haven't seen really a country that has two airports so far away from each other that is not separated between international or domestic. You get what I mean? So you have international airport and a domestic airport that's separated. But here we are separating budget airline and non-budget airlines.
Okay.
These budget airlines are also flying international flights. They're also flying domestic flights. It's very confusing. You get this now on, now off kind of situation. Sometimes, it was operating, it closed, it operating again.
Well, Nok Air have moved
publics
back.
get confused.
Nok Air have moved back to Don Muang, so it's
Right.
very much
But
on.
Nok Air doesn't
right?
go international. Nok Air is domestic.
No,
so
I'm
it's
saying,
not a
but
problem.
Nok Air is back, so it's very much on as a domestic destination
Most of the
airport.
major countries,
Yeah.
I don't
Most
know.
major cities
Most
do have
major
at least two
two
airports.
That's right.
Look
Separated
at London.
between-
They have Heathrow, they have
Yeah.
Gatwick, they have Stansted.
Japan
they
just has
they have
two,
London
Tokyo,
City
yeah.
Airport. That's 4. Okay.
Are they very far away from each other?
It's not the,
They're further away from each other than Don Muang and Suvarnabhumi for sure.
but
Probably.
the
But
point.
what's the reason for
it
Don
bring-
Muang being operational again? What's the real reason?
Why wouldn't you want it operational?
Why didn't they just build a bigger terminal or better facilities,
okay,
or
so
the
Tom,
third runway at least.
What happens if there's a really big flood, God forbid, and Suvarnapum Airport gets knocked out by the flood? Where are the planes going to go if we don't have Don Muang
Look,
Airport?
in reality, Thailand has three
Utapao.
Thailand has three airports, right? You have Utapao, you have Don Muang, you have Suvarnapum.
Bangkok has 3 airports.
Yeah, I think you know, reopening of Don Muang to the low-cost budget carrier is a good idea, because as you can see, the congestions at Suvarnapum now. I mean, planes have to wait in the tarmac.
Definitely, yeah.
Planes have to wait on the tarmac before they land. You know, Thailand is a tourism country, right? I don't see the problem of providing another access point for people to fly in and out. And you know, again, on this one, we're not forcing people to come. AirAsia, Tony Fernandez's airline, Nok Air, One2Go, they've all decided. They requested this. They want this to happen.
Sure.
So again, I'm not an airline expert, but if a company like AirAsia, who does fly international in and out, wants Don Muang Airport because they're going to save a tremendous amount of money just on fuel charges.
Air travel should be partly about convenience. Don Muang is a very, very convenient.
I live 10 minutes from there.
I live 20 minutes from there. I mean, I live in Saton. It takes me 20 minutes to get to
I'm
Don
not
Muang.
going to go to Don Muang. It's too far. It's 50 kilometers from where I live. I'm
But
closer
then
to
again,
Suvarnapum.
you can fly Thai Smile out of Suvarnapum.
Probably.
Right? You can. I mean, it just gives them more choices. I don't think it's a
I've
problem.
always been a big fan of Don Muang. I like it. I like its convenience. I like the layout. I like that you can get there. You can get
In and out
from
very
check-in
quickly.
at Nok Air onto your plane within 15 minutes.
That's right.
Done. No messing around.
so
No walking for half a
You like the
kilometer.
terminal, you like how fast you get to the airport.
Yeah.
So was Suvarnapum designed wrongly? Was Suvarnapum not better managed? Was this problem created by men?
If you're asking me
Again.
the question, then I would say that Suvarnapum, it's a great airport, it's a huge airport, but the usability level is very, very low.
That's right.
I
I agree on that one. You have to walk
I think
just too far
I
to
think
get to
the
a plane.
situation is very simple. Thailand attracts a lot of tourists. Obviously, Suvarnapum is going to expand. They're expanding another runway now. They're expanding the terminal. Low-budget carriers are more point-to-point, okay? And most of the Thai AirAsia fly within our country, okay? Obviously, they go out to Cambodia,
Singapore.
they go to Singapore. But, you know, low-budget carriers, they don't want to bother with Suvarnapum, even if Suvarnapum was good, for a simple reason. They want to be able to land, take off, land, take off, land, take off. They don't want to wait on the runway, waste fuel, waste their customers' time. You know, again, it showcases, you know, I think the right decision was made. And the other thing is it improves the lives of the people around the Don Muang area. After a massive flood, this brings the economy of that area back. So on this one, I give a thumbs up.
Okay, let's hope the AOT can actually manage 2 airports full-time properly.
Well, I think that
You're going to have double the problems.
They've been doing
you
it
know?
already.
I would like to give you the last word on this,
You're
but
gonna have-
I think they managed Don
You're gonna
Muang
have
very,
double,
very well.
You're going to have double the problems. They managed Don Muang well when it was only operated by Nok Air and One2Go. Now you're going to have a lot more flights at Don Muang right now.
I think, considering that Don Muang
In
used
parallel-
to be an
in
international airport, I think they can
In
they have the
parallel
facilities
with
there.
Suvarnapum, do they have enough people to manage those 2 airports
They'll
well?
put the people there.
Adrian, first flight of Thai AirAsia, you and me, we're going somewhere. How about we test that out?
Last word, Adrian.
Let's
We
test
let
it
you have
out.
it.
Let's test it out.
Okay.
It's not proven. I'm not convinced.
Don Muang is a go, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, topic number 6, the AEC.
Is that like a new basketball league?
AEC.
New basketball league? Asian.
It's the
ASEAN.
ASEAN,
Anyone?
it's
Anyone?
the ASEAN Economic Community, modeled after the EC in Europe.
Whoops.
The EEC.
EEC.
Yeah, modeled after the EEC.
Okay.
Previously called the EEC, now just the EC. It was
Okay.
a European Economic Community, and now you have an ASEAN Economic Community. I think the intentions for AAC were to try to reduce the challenges for businesses to operate amongst the 10 member countries.
What?
Right.
What did you say? When is it supposed to take place? Can somebody give me a date?
In 2 years.
2
Or
years.
3 years. In
Why?
2015.
Why can't we have it now?
2015.
I travel in ASEAN without a visa anywhere.
I think the problem, it's not about the visa issues.
Are we going to have like a common
Is this gonna
Free-
follow-
common
is this-
monetary?
what,
free
economy,
trade,
free trade.
free trade.
Don't we have
So
free
reduce,
trade already? Don't we
reduce import duties
Yeah.
between countries. So you know,
How am
you
I
could
going to
have
benefit?
cars.
What am I going to get cheaper?
You could get
Am I
cheaper
gonna get-
cars
What cars?
from Indonesia, and from Malaysia.
So wait a minute. So
Protons?
is
Am I
this
get
going to
a-
help Thailand or hurt Thailand?
Am I going to get a cheaper
Good question.
Proton?
Yeah, you could get a cheaper Proton.
Well, again, is this going to help or hurt Thailand? I have no idea.
I'm not sure either whether it's going to help or it's going to hurt Thailand, you know. But you know, we have
What
to
is
be
AEC? Okay, Asian Economic...
ASEAN economic.
ASEAN. So we have ASEAN, right?
Right.
Doesn't
10
that
countries.
do the same? Is this like a
Name the
double
10
up?
ASEAN countries.
Thailand,
Uh-huh.
Thailand.
Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. There's another one out there, Philippines,
How many we got?
Burma.
Brunei.
Does she know it?
She knows. She knows. Is it Brunei?
What is it?
Brunei?
Is it?
Are you on
What?
TV now?
Myanmar.
Myanmar? Myanmar, isn't it?
Myanmar, that's
Are they-
Burma.
Are they allowed in it?
Well, you're
Yeah, they are, they
I
yeah.
don't know. I'm asking you.
Myanmar is the head of ASEAN right now.
Is it?
It is.
Oh my God.
Things have changed.
Things have changed.
Who am I?
Look,
So
I think
AEC good or bad? I have no idea.
my concern is this.
Yeah.
Obviously, the AEC is going to bring more competition
Okay.
to our shores.
Yes.
You know, as people can do businesses, you know, tariff-free, as things become smoother for people to travel around, and certainly Myanmar is right next door, and they're preparing for this. I just hope that Thailand is ready to take on the leadership of the AEC, because at some juncture, some country has to be the leader, much like Germany is the leader of the EU, right? I hope that Thailand
Well,
plays that role.
we're going to take it in turns, right?
Well, no, but leadership
we
meaning
get- we
everything.
get our chance to
No,
mess
no,
it
no,
up.
no,
That's
not on the council, but really be the country
All right.
that benefits the most from the AEC, whether it's through trade, through travel, through, you know.
So it's a competitive issue then.
It has
Shouldn't
a
we
lot
be
of good
helping other-
things. It has a
shouldn't we
lot
be,
of good
working
things.
What are the
with
good
other
things?
It means that professionals from Thailand can now actually work in any of these 10 countries easier.
That's good.
You can actually, if you're an architect and you're a damn good architect, you could be opening shop in Indonesia.
Is it hard to do that now?
I think it is. I think it
They
is.
probably
I
protect
don't think
those
you can go
industries.
work in Myanmar, and there's going to be a lot of jobs opening up there with that growth in the country.
They're not opening the floodgates for everyone to come
Yeah.
in. They're opening it for professionals first. You know, you have to be properly certified and so on and so forth. So
Okay.
they're good things. Maybe we'll see more Thai professionals exporting their talents.
Jay-Z,
overseas.
we become a host of an AEC show in Brunei.
Yeah, anything's possible. If I can do this,
Yeah.
I'm still here next week. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Number 7, Burma.
See, we're right there. It's Myanmar now, by the way.
Myanmar, excuse me, I'm sorry. I apologize. Myanmar.
Aung San Suu Kyi would not like you for that.
Myanmar have recently been through their version of the Arab Spring, totally opened up, taken many people from Myanmar by surprise themselves.
Yes.
Government are now approachable. The US are very interested. The EU are very interested. We're very interested. So how are we going to make the best of this situation as Thailand? How's Thailand going to do it?
Adrian?
Thailand has always been dependent on Myanmar for a lot of things. And some people say that perhaps in making use of the resources available in Myanmar, like oil, fuel, telecommunication rights, whatever, or even people, they are managing their stuff much better. So I think we have to have a look at them on an equal footing. Rather
Okay,
than
so
one
historically
that's not.
there's always been a bit of a them and us issue between Myanmar and Thailand, and the other way around.
You know,
Thailand and Myanmar.
I'm going to
Okay,
go
Tom,
with...
do you think that Myanmar, now that they're opening up, they're becoming acceptable to the international community? Do you think they're going to think to themselves, the administration over there might say, "Damn you, Thailand, we don't need you anymore.
No, they
we
will
don't
need
need your
it. They will need
investment.
expertise.
We don't need your expertise."
I'm going to go with the great Aung San Suu Kyi on this one in her speech here in Thailand, which she said, I think we have to be cautiously optimistic. Right? I think people, as in anything, a beautiful woman shows up at the ball, and everybody immediately wants to run and dance with her. You know, I think this one we have to make sure that she knows how to dance, she knows all the proper etiquette. It's going to be a while, and I think this is...
You're talking about Myanmar, not Aung San Suu Kyi.
Absolutely, Myanmar.
Dancing and etiquette.
I agree, I agree.
Okay.
I think on this one, Thailand has a great opportunity,
Yeah.
right, to be the staging point for anyone who wants to do business in Myanmar. I think, as Adrian pointed out with the AEC, they're going to need a lot of human resources. I mean, they're going to have a lot of skilled labor. They're going to need a lot of technology transfer. I think Thailand has to treat Myanmar as an equal.
That's
I
right.
think we need to bring them on board, treat them as someone who we want to work with, and not, as you said at the beginning, exploit them. Right? I think Myanmar is ready to play ball with us. I think if we do things right, Thailand will be the staging point for many.
And the
many-
gateway,
point
and the
is
gateway to
that
Myanmar. Yeah.
Myanmar might not be so interested in us being the staging point.
I don't think they have a choice. I don't think they have a
look at another
choice.
country.
I don't think they have a
China,
choice. I don't think they have a choice.
India.
We're neighbors. At the end of the day, my neighbor, you know, who I've been living with for what, the last 15 years, right? My
to put
neighbor
up
and
with
my
you.
has to put up with me. We like each other. We understand each other. all of a sudden, a new guy moves into the block, you know, I think he's going to trust us. But again, it comes back. I have to understand that my neighbor now is no longer the weak, you know, partner that I may have had. And we have to understand that Myanmar has awakened. And I think if we treat the people of Myanmar with respect, if we treat their government with respect, I think things will be okay.
It's got a great opportunity for Thai companies to do business there, not exploit, do business.
Have you been to Myanmar?
Supply. No, I haven't. I have a couple of Burmese friends. But yes, there are a lot of things that we can actually provide them with in terms of technology help, you know, in terms of operating of the port, for instance, the deep water port in Dawei, and supplying a lot of our produce, soft drinks,
but it goes
instant noodles.
And it goes back to your original. And I think we have to take the word exploited out because we can't make those people feel that way. And I think that if we can really show the people of Myanmar, their government, that, you know, we're here to support, we want them to grow. As they grow, we should grow. And I think if that's the case, then...
Was Thailand Aung San Suu Kyi's first country?
It was
overseas?
first, yeah.
Should
Should
Thailand be worried about Myanmar?
It should.
They should. They should. 66 million people, 80 million people, right?
It should. If all the people invest and build factories there and things are going to be produced in Myanmar, that's going to be taking stuff away from Thai factories and Thai labor.
But you can look at Myanmar as Vietnam to China. You can look at Myanmar as Cambodia to China. You know, we can be the China for this country, where we're moving our labor force or things that we want to do into them, right? I think, you know, Vietnam benefits from a bigger China. Cambodia benefits from a bigger China.
Why
can't Myanmar
move our labor force into Myanmar?
No, it's not about.
I mean, do we still have the labor force?
We have to upgrade our.
Because in my experience, we're using a lot of people from Myanmar as laborers here, as factory workers here, because the Thai people are not willing to do that work, or they've moved on. They've progressed from those kind of jobs.
No, again, on this
where's the opportunity
I think
for
it gives us an opportunity to climb up the ladder of business. You know, it showcases we can't do business the same now. We have a nice friend in Myanmar who is willing to help us grow, and we help them grow. So it's a matter of just partnering up, just like China helps Vietnam grow, Vietnam helps China grow.
The opportunities are there. Perhaps even a TV station could be in the works.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So perhaps we should start learning it.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. That's Myanmar, that's the AEC, and that's Muang Airport years ago. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to be back with our final 3 topics. Stay tuned.
They can never break your pride.
Okay, thanks for joining us and welcome back. You're watching The Topic, Thailand's weekly news update show. We're going to move on to our final 3 topics. Number 8 in our list is...
Number 8.
Number 8, okay, we're on the 8 ball. Don't know what that means, but I've heard many people say it before. The Democrat Party. Now, as you may know, of course, if you follow Thai politics...
Are they still around?
It's about a year and a half since the Democrats lost office.
They're still around?
Okay, they are still around.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to ask my studio guests, where are the Democrat Party now? What are they up to?
I'm the wrong guy to ask. I think we better throw this one to Adrian first.
Well, you know, when the South bombing happened, who was there first? I think Apisit was there first visiting. He's still there. He's still active going to the ground. I don't see anyone from the government being as active as him going to the ground, visiting all these areas where there's a problem. Do you?
You know, I think at the end of the day, you know, the Democrats have a job to do.
Well, they are the opposition.
The job is they have to be an opposition.
They should be an effective opposition.
The problem is they're
trying
not
to find something that they can throw at
instead of doing press photos, opportunities, and you know, I think they should be. Look, I would love for the Democrats to be the opposition party that they can be. I think Kun Apisit is a smart gentleman, and I think he's very articulate. I wish that he would just do the job that the people expect him to do, which is to keep tabs on the government, rather than doing...
And he will be doing that, and I'm sure they'll be raising this...
He hasn't done it in a year and a half.
They'll be raising this censure debate, and I'm sure they'll be targeting the correct people. And, you know, I think this will happen. We have to wait for the session to start again.
You can't have an opposition party that just consistently says no. No to everything. No. No, I
don't think he has said
no. NASA wanted to come here and do a very good thing.
Okay.
No. Right? Every time the government wants to do something, the answer is no.
The jury's out on that one.
The opposition's role is to ensure that our government is doing the right thing. Not to stop every party.
It's a check and balance,
I don't disagree with you.
So government has, what, another 2.5 years left in office before we have to call the next general election. Now,
The opposition's
the
role is
opposition
not to say no all
should
the
be
time.
throwing something,
I don't
should be
disagree
trying
with
to
you.
make something stick on the government that people can say, okay, maybe these guys aren't doing such a great job after all. So, Adrian, what
Well,
have the Democrat Party got to do?
The opposition's role in a democracy is not to always oppose. The opposition is there to check and balance what happens in Parliament. And I think they are doing that given their limited capability because they don't have a majority.
I agree with you on that one.
They
do have limited capability.
They don't have a majority. But look at the recent debate between the current Minister of Finance and the previous Minister of Finance. I think I know who won this debate.
I'm here.
Obviously, the taller guy is much better.
Let me tell you this. I am one for a government that has a check and balance. I do think that the Democrats are in big trouble for the simple fact that they're now being known as the party of no. People would appreciate the Democrats, I think, if they actually offer solutions or alternatives to a government position.
Right. And on that, I agree, as I mentioned.
And I think
the job is not to say no all the time.
If you ask me what the Democrats have to do, I think they actually have to start coming up with...
How realistic is it that they can be an effective checks and balance with the number of seats they have in the House?
Well, you know, look, it doesn't take 100 people, it doesn't take 50 people. Kun Apisit has always had the goodwill of the Thai general public. I think Kun Apisit just has to go back to his original stance, which is a democratic loving politician rather than a power-hungry grabbing politician.
Okay, so Democrat Party, they have some pretty traditional weaknesses. I think communication, public relations.
Adrian,
They should improve, and they are.
Adrian suggests us something that they can do to
look at what they're doing on the social media now. They are definitely scoring on the social media front for the Democrats than the current government.
Is that going to help them win the next general election?
I'm sure there are 15 million people using Facebook in Thailand.
I think that the Democrats need to start explaining to the people that we will respect the will of the majority. We're not smarter than the general public. We want to work with the people. We want to work with this government. And again, let's invite this government to work with the Democrats. I think the Democrats have to be the one to offer the fig leaf. Yes, we are in the opposition, but yet we can still make a difference.
Okay, so former Prime Minister Apisit, is he going to be leading the Democrat Party into the next general election?
I'm pretty sure he will be.
Is that louder? Did you guys hear that? Let me try that again.
Speak up.
Well, I'm sure he will be.
If it's not him, who's it going to be?
I think Kun Gon has a huge shot of being the next leader of the Democratic Party.
He has been outspoken. He has performed well. He has been a professional. He's a technocrat. And this comes to my point again, or a point that I would like to raise is, you know, any government, when I looked at today's government, I don't see it as, you know, you're not putting the right people in the right jobs here. You're not electing the right people into power here.
65% approval rating.
No. But you
that
know,
to me is pretty good.
If you want to drive a car,
65%
if you want to drive a car,
rating.
you need a driving license. If you want to be a doctor, you need a certificate.
If you
want to be a politician, you don't need anything.
We had a woman
you don't
who
need
owns
anything.
a massage parlor as
so,
a minister of commerce in the last Democrat.
So
that's not telling me they're putting the right people in.
You have a lady whose brother is a wanted criminal as the leader. So, you know.
Not according to the U.S.
The U.S. law does not apply here.
I'm not a U.S. citizen.
The U.S. law doesn't apply here.
I have the utmost respect for Kun Apisit. I think he's a good guy. Personally, I think he's a good guy. I just think he's taken the wrong track.
Okay, so a change of leadership at the Democrat Party before the next general election, could it be a revolution in the Democrat Party that sees them become a lot more stronger and potentially overturn their history of loss?
The Democratic Party just has to start respecting the will of the Thai people.
No. Forget about that. What do you think, Adrian?
Well, you know,
if they go the technocrat route with leadership, are they going to become like a much stronger
force? Has a personality. He has a following. He has people like him. So, you know, I don't know if changing a leader now will actually make it better or worse for the Democrats. I'm not sure either. I
think there has to be a change. You know, the wine is old, you know, and I think you need to have a completely new bottle. And I think,
I think it's a question of career politicians versus technocrats.
Yeah.
And if you have technocrats, people that know how to get stuff done,
the country will be much better.
Are in tune with the modern practice of social warfare.
Yeah. But I go back to your original
point. I think
point.
they're going to be a much stronger party. I mean, that's just the way I think. But I leave it to you, gentlemen.
Yeah. I go back to your original point, though. The Democrat Party, right? It can't be where are you? Show us something. Show us that you're part of the progress rather than the continuous stoppage of the movement forward for Thailand.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move on to number 9. Topic number 9 this week, squatting toilets.
What? How do we go from the AEC, the Democrats, to squatting toilets?
Squatting toilets.
What is a squatting toilet?
Who picks the topic?
I picked the topic? I can't even squat!
Squatting toilets. They're on the way out, apparently, if local news stories are to believe, squatting toilets are on the way out. I mean, I just learned how to use these
How do
things.
you use it? Can you show us?
No, I'm not going to show you.
How does one use a squatting toilet?
I just learned how to use these things.
Show our foreign friends how to use a
now they're on
squatting
the way
toilet.
out. What do you think? What do you think of this?
Well, it's great, but you know, toilets. Cleanliness is number 1, not about whether you squat or whether you sit. Number 2 is about where they are. Can you find them? I mean, I go to the BTS and there's not a single toilet. You know, so this article that came out said that there's a new regulation that said that all public toilets would have to have squats replaced with sitting. That's fine. That's great. But are they going to be dirtier or are they going to be cleaner? I'm more concerned about that.
Hallelujah. You know, the camera adds 10 pounds to you, so obviously, you know, this is making me look, you know, very, very, very heavy.
You don't have an opinion on squatting toilets?
I have it. I hate it. I hate it. I can't squat. I don't know how to squat. I have no idea why anyone would want to squat. Look, to me, put my behind, you know, with something under it, and I'm a happy man.
Who invented squatting toilets?
Whoever came up with this idea, Democrats, you know, I don't care. I don't give a hoot. I agree. Hallelujah. Give me a seat.
Is this a government initiative?
I don't know. What is it? It's somebody's smart idea.
It's possibly a government initiative to outlaw squatting toilets.
I mean, how does one actually squat?
One of the best policies, I say, coming from the government.
I agree. This is a good policy.
Well, maybe our producer will find some very tasteful graphics to show us
on a squatting toilet.
But I will say a couple of things. That squatting toilets are meant to be more hygienic than the conventional seating ones.
Yeah, until you actually fall down and fall into it, then you got a problem.
And they're probably easier for you to actually ease yourself as well.
Ease yourself what?
You're in a position that utilizes the forces of gravity.
I want to use if I want to use a squat toilet, I'm going to go out to the jungle, okay? And become like, you know, George of the jungle or something, squat there and pick a hole.
Okay, we're going to move on.
I live in
Cleanliness is more
Bangkok.
important. Cleanliness.
Tom's talking about falling down in squatting toilets, clearly talking from experience. Our final topic of this week, number 10, Thailand's Olympic team. How have they been doing? How have they been doing?
How many medals do they have now?
3. But let's congratulate her because, you know, to be fair, these people toil.
I'm sure.
For 4 years, you know, to...
Oh, no, it's a lifetime. It's a lifetime of effort.
And to be fair, you know, there's 6 billion people in the world. You know, to win a medal at the Olympic Games, you know, for your country, I mean, to stand on that podium.
It's a great honor. It's a great honor.
Seeing her hold the picture of the king, you know, it's always something that warms our hearts. And, you know, Thailand is not the world's biggest country.
Have you watched much of the Olympics this time?
Well, sports has always been a uniting factor in society. And, you know, unfortunately, not many people can watch Olympics on TV because some of the screens are blacked out.
Are they? I mean, this is the first time I've been living in Thailand for 16 years now. And I can't remember such comprehensive coverage of the Olympics as we've had this year. I think it's incredible. I think after the European Football Championships debacle, they've done a great job. I think there's 8 Olympic channels, 4 of which are in HD, if you're lucky enough to have HD. It's been great. I've stayed up late nearly every night to watch Usain Bolt. I've watched
that guy's something, isn't he?
Handball, volleyball, fencing coverage has been fantastic.
Since we were talking about government and all that and policies, and now we're talking about sports. So how's the government policy with regards to sports? Are they supporting sports? Are they providing enough facilities, enough resources to increase and
this one I don't disagree you.
You know, I mean,
every government has done, I think every government from this one to the last 10, 20 years has not done a very good job of supporting sport. And that's why I think it's even more, you know, that we should compliment, you know, the people that have gone out and gotten the gold.
I don't know.
Because
it was really hard to do it because they didn't have the support.
It is really hard.
You know,
we don't have the facilities.
Yeah.
We don't have the grassroots development. We don't have the quality in
but
the training.
If you think about it, you know, rich countries like Singapore, you know, bigger countries than us like Indonesia, wealthier countries like Malaysia, their athletes don't win as many medals as ours.
Well, Singapore is a very small country. There are
But,
very,
you know,
very few athletes.
but
But they
again,
have a lot of
yeah.
imports.
But again, at the end of the day, regardless of what, I'm here to say, look, whether the government is supporting or not supporting, let's talk about the individuals. These people went out and brought pride to our country. The weightlifter,
I'm sure,
the
yes.
boxer.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think 2016 in Brazil, golf is coming back as an Olympic sport.
Golf is
I
going to
think
be well for Thailand.
We've got very, very many.
And
we've got very, very many.
badminton.
We've got very, very many young Thai golfers coming up through the ranks. I wouldn't be surprised if we see in 4 years' time maybe a Thai golfer on the podium,
And don't forget
maybe winning
our-
1 or 2 golf medals. I
Don't
hope.
forget our badminton team. The badminton players this year are all very young. The young lady made it all the way to the quarterfinals, almost beat the Chinese number 2. So
We always
I
seem to
think-
do well at Taekwondo.
Yeah. 2016, golden year for Thai Olympics.
Okay, now before we wrap this up, gentlemen, any last topics? Any last word, Adrian? No. We'll not let him have the last word.
I'm on.
No,
No, let him go first because I don't want him to have
This
the
has
last
been
word.
a great show. I love it. It shows a living, vibrant, democratic society in
Yes.
Thailand where we can sit down and debate and agree not to agree.
I think it's
It's
important.
perfect.
I think it's important, Jan. I appreciate you trying to put on a show like this. As Adrian said, the only way to resolve a conflict is through conversation.
That's right.
Right? I think in a country like ours, there's nothing better than just talk it out. Adrian and I do not have to agree, but what we have to do is respect each other's ideas.
Yeah, and we all want the best for Thailand. Thailand's my home. Thailand's your home. Thailand's your home.
Well, there's nothing better than 3 badly educated guys talking absolute nonsense. We'll be back here same time next week. If you have got any comments, I'm sure you better find us on a website or Facebook or Twitter, something like that. Just look out for it. Topic on MCOT. What's on
99.
MCOT World.
So MCOT
Channel
World,
99.
Channel 99 on True. So if you want to join the show, if you've got any questions, any criticism, any suggestions, send it in. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Okay?
Done. Get out of here.
Done,
You
man.
have all the content?
It's one life.
Gotta go. Gotta go.
Don't believe what they tell you. They try to sell you. When dreams died, plans fell through. They can never break your pride. It's time to regulate.
Topic number 9, squatting toilet.
What?
Myanmar might not be so.
I don't think they have a choice. I don't think
might
they have
look
a
at another
choice.
country.
I don't think they have a choice.
China?
So wait a minute.
So
So is this going to help Thailand or hurt Thailand? No to everything. No.
Am I going to get a cheap
Good
photo
question.
on?
They can never break your pride. Don't believe what they tell you. They try to sell you. When dreams died, plans fell through. They can never break your pride. They can never take your pride.
How do we go from the AEC, the Democrats, to squatting toilet?